Hey, hello. Welcome to Engage Separator Firewall online training for AWS deployments. The goals for this training is provide the attendees um, enough knowledge to learn how to deploy Engage Separator Firewall in Amazon Web Services. Has an SBC companion for your PBX deployments. We are assuming that PBX is also being deployed on the AWS cloud service. We will also illustrate how Engage Separator can be used for VPN connectivity with the VPN services provided by Amazon. During the session, you will be able to see live configurations examples. Um, I highly recommend for everyone attending this training that before moving forward to the sessions, um, to have your own AWS account. There is a very easy way to obtain an account. There is a free tier where you can take advantage of almost zero cost for you. And also, in case that you do so, you can also request eGate to provide you with some trial licenses. You just need to um, email uh, to trainingquestions@engage.com, or even you can email to sales@engage.com. So why we are doing this training? It is a fact that cloud service providers are growing very rapidly, and the market is moving traditional IT services to the cloud. Is a very interesting alternative to uh, traditional capex intensive investments, and uh, and this removes any barrier to facilitate technology adoption under a well-known financial model called OPEX. Everything is going to be operational cost. This is a concept that has been already proven for many years, and basically on the traditional IT infrastructure, um, ERP, CRM, and all these type of applications. And most recently, there is a broad adoption of real-time services such as voice, video, um, PBX, unified communication, system messaging, etc., etc., etc. So cloud infrastructure is allowing the enterprise and small business to easily adopt and jump into the new era of IT technologies, and in a way that is made affordable, and on technologies and strategies that used to be only uh, relegated to large and Fortune corporations. Um, there are key players on driving the cloud infrastructure, and some of them are well-known giants such as Amazon with their division called AWS, Google Cloud Platform, Microsoft Azure, IBM Cloud, etc. But there are also many others, not that big, but also um, uh, offering the infrastructure as a service model. This training is going to be focused specifically on AWS um, case. It's very similar to other type of deployments. We have similar solutions for Google Cloud, Azure, and even any OpenStack-based cloud service provider. Um, our software version for the cloud, in this case for Amazon, is a specific customized version of separator software that is fully integrated with VPC and EC2 services in AWS. Okay, we are not going to go in detail on this kind of looks like a complicated chart, but diagram. But this is a generic, simplified way on understanding how the um, Amazon architecture is built, right? So Amazon starts by dividing their infrastructure in what they call regions. Okay, so here you have a AWS region, and all those regions go, um, provide service for some specific geographical regions worldwide. And there are about 15. We're gonna mention them more in detail in one of the sessions. Um, each region at the same time may have up to 4 different data centers, just for having geographical redundancy and to prevent to have to provide you with a architecture to create um, disaster recovery strategies. Okay, so then you have the possibility of create what is called a virtual private uh, cloud, and in your virtual private cloud, or called SVC, um, VPC, you, you have full control of all your subnetting addressing, etc. So we're going to see that more in detail in one of the sessions, right? And you can create the architecture allows you to create public subnets, private subnets, etc. But we're gonna see this more detail in the one of the sessions. The typical use cases that we are going to present during the training, one of them is what we call the core SVC. Uh, as you can see on the diagram, we have a region, and that region has a private subnet and a public subnet inside a specific availability zone. The availability zone is a specific data center. You can have, as I said before, up to 4 availability zones, and you can have on the same and your same VPC deployed, part of it deployed in one data center, another part of it could be deployed in another data center, and that's a way for you to create, for example, high availability strategies. So you're going to have a public subnet and a private subnet. The PBX, or my unified communication infrastructure, is going to be hosted on the private subnet in order to avoid any direct access from the outside. The in-gate will have 2 legs. One leg is going to be um, located on the public subnet. The public subnet will behave like a DMZ zone, and the other leg will be pointing or connected to the private subnet. This is the one that is going to facilitate the connectivity between the PBX and the external world. So that way, anything that goes in or out from the PBX uh, will have to go through the session border controller, in this case, through the separator. So the PBX will never have will never be directly exposed. Uh, In-gate instance will be the default NAT gateway providing full control of any indirect access. In other words, any traffic going to the internet will be sent to the default gateway as any traditional networking strategy, but the default gateway will be uh, the IP address of the in-gate facing the private subnet. So there is a router that is part of the own infrastructure. You don't need to do anything besides doing the management of ACLs and routes and etc. But you don't have to deploy any um, instance or virtual machine or etc. Right? So traffic going to users, you see here the connection to the external world. You may have users that are located in remote offices like this one here. And in this case, in this specific example, we are showing also an in-gate installed, separator in-gate installed on-premise on the remote office. And that will provide some um, additional features such as survival capabilities for the phones located in that specific remote office. And also you will have maybe home offices like these phones here directly connected to the internet, and maybe soft phones or maybe WebRTC sessions being channelized through the SVC and the PBX. So everything interacting with the PBX is going to be controlled and managed through the ingate. One thing interesting here is that, for example, uh, the most typical deployments for remote users um, um, has a security measure, has a privacy measure. Um, we'll use you may decide to use TLS and SRTP as encryption protocols, but you don't need to deal with the TLS and SRTP configuration at the PBX level. That could be managed everything from the separator and make it totally transparent, seamless for the IPPBX. Also, as you can see in the diagram, we have here this symbol representing an ITSP. So the connectivity managed by the separator to control everything going in and out from and to the PBX um, not only contemplates the remote users, but also the SIP trunks that provide the PSTN connectivity. So that is going to be part of the um, explanation and the sessions on the training, how to build the SIP trunks. So that's one of the use cases. This is the core use cases we're going to be developing through the sessions. Another, we have one of the sessions is dedicated to VPN, and this is the use case we're going to show there. In that case, we have the PBX hosted on the Amazon infrastructure, but the ingate in this case is not located in the AWS cloud. We are taking advantage. We're going to be taking advantage of the VPN IPsec service that is already embedded inside the VPC, and also you will be terminating all your VPN IPsec connectivity in your enterprise location using an ingate. So we're going to show how to do this integration. So these are the 15 sessions that will be walking through during this training. Session one is going to be dedicated to explain more in detail um, how the AWS is architecture is built. No, we will not see all the details of all the services, but the ones that are relevant for the implementation of a hosted IPPBX infrastructure. Then we're going to have Engage Separator Firewall has a PBX front end in the cloud. We're going to show that case. Uh, we're going to show how to launch the separator instance in AWS. Uh, what are the network adjustments that need to be done? How you're going to license and activate your instance? Um, how you need to set up your virtual private cloud, and how is the network layout? Then we're going to show networking configuration on the separator, SIP services configuration. Um, we're going to show how to do the configuration for intrusion detection, and um, then we're going to deal with dial plans. Then what are we going to explain what are the considerations in terms of configuring properly the PBX and the endpoints to integrate in this architecture. Uh, then we are going to show you what else needs to be done at the firewall level inside the separator when you want to support extra features such as phone provision. Um, then we are going to add the TLS SRTP support for the remote connections. Uh, then we are going to explain the use case using the VPN services from Amazon connected to a remote ingate in a local headquarters office data center. And then um, I'm going to explain what needs to be done when you want to use the startup tool with AWS. So that's going to be all. So I hope you enjoy the training. And um, one more and very last comment is that at the end of the every session, um, feel free to send emails to this email address, trainingquestions@engage.com. And if you have any doubt or any question that you may want to ask, just send that email and we're going to respond back to you uh, quickly. So we're going to start interacting with you guys. This is not a live training, so but we are opening the possibility for you to start interacting with us and making questions. So having said that, that's the introduction, and I hope to see you on the next session, session number 1.